All right. Okay, Islam, man. Islam, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming in for Holy Day service. We're about to go ahead and get started. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All right, so if we can all rise and face the east, we're going to do the Moorish American prayer. Okay? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I got the prayer. Something's wrong with your mic. I got it. All right, yeah. Two on the right, 5 fingers on the left, feet at a 45-degree angle, and repeat after me. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my guide, my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. All right. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and announce that the meeting is open. First and foremost, we want to rise, give our highest praise to the Most High Father of the universe, Allah. We want to give honors to our holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality and teaching us to love instead of hate. We also want to give honors, always give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We always give honors to all the Adep sheiks and all the faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish divine and national movement. We give honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, appointed by the Prophet, Brother E. Millie Ill. We give honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and that's Brother K. Dandridgel. Give honors to the Grand Council as well of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And now we're going to read the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Islam. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and read the Divine Constitution and Bylaws.
Salvation, Allah, Unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws of the Constitution of this said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are not part and that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must now proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name faithful. Husbands, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of the household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your prophet Noble Drew Ali through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American Prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office of Noble Drew Ali, Home Office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam.
Islam. All right, Islam. Okay, today we're gonna do chapter 6. All right, and that is chapter 6, Life and Works of Jesus among the Muslims, Jesus in India among the Muslims. And before we do that, though, we're gonna go to what we did last Sunday, right, and just recap. Okay, so hold up. Last Sunday we were on chapter 5. Hang on a second. Okay, so yeah, last Sunday we were on chapter 5. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. Okay, all right. And in this, like, there's a lot of wisdom in here, just in the title and in the very first couple of verses. Okay, so they're going to Galilee, right? Okay, and the parents are going to find Jesus so that he can go with them to Nazareth, right? Okay, and in the beginning, in the very beginning, like in verse 3, it's saying that, and Joseph saw them on their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. Okay, so they're looking for Jesus, all right, and then they're gonna take him to Nazareth with them. And just in there, you know, we had to stop and look at the symbolic meaning of, like, what is it really telling us, you know, with Galilee and also with Nazareth. And we talked about, you know, some of the meanings behind that. And one of them was, hang on, okay, with Galilee. All right, well, first off, with Nazareth, okay, Nazareth was a despised place, right? They say, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Can any good thing at all come out of Nazareth, right? So people that were coming from here were seen as inferior. It was considered a community of commonplace, if not disreputable people. Yet in this commonplace village, Jesus was reared, and in a seemingly mediocre mind, the Christ's truth is revealed and received and expressed, right? And then it's it's going further, saying Nazareth typifies the commonplace mind of man but it is a place of development through which Christ comes into expression. And when you look at Galilee, like this is setting the tone for what he's revealing. He's giving you the tools to tap into this power that is within. Okay, so Galilee, all right, we're looking at Galilee, you know, on one basis, on the, I guess you could say, mundane level. It's one of the main divisions of the country of nowadays Palestine. Okay, but you're looking at the metaphysical meaning of Galilee, and we see that this is the energy of life. This is the soul power, right? This is the life activity, the soul energy, power, force, energy, acting in conjunction with substance, right? Jesus' entrance into Galilee in John 4, verse 43 through 54 represents the increased activity that ensues when truth comes down into the subconscious realm, and brings about the realization of Christhood after personality has been denied and praise of God has been set up. So personality has been denied, and he's giving you the tools for doing that. By giving you the tools of the workshop of the mind, you're learning how to square off your thoughts, right? You're learning, you know, how to make sure they're within the bounds of righteousness. So you're learning how to raise your own thoughts up to that level so that you can tap into this power, this what Galilee represents, the soul energy, the power force, right? And then going even further, Galilee associated with the mountain symbolizes a high consciousness of life. I'm not going to read all this. Science tells us that this Galilee consciousness exists everywhere as an interpenetrating ether. Jesus called it the kingdom of the heavens, right? And he goes further, describing a spiritual and physical meaning, saying man has a dual nervous system. Nerves are wired to conduct the messages of the mind. Going down even further, a constant flow of nervous energy is making the circuit of this nervous system and carrying all kinds of messages from the mind. This sea of vitality, right? So this energy is coursing through your veins, coursing through you, you know, on a spiritual level. And within this, he gives you the tools of the mind, the workshop of the mind, so that you know how to tap in. Okay, I am passed over the voluntary nervous energy to the involuntary, to the other side, and concentrated at the solar plexus. So he's telling you how to tap into the other side. All right, so you know, those are my words. So forgive me if, you know, if I'm not relaying this message well enough, but he's telling you, he's giving you the tools on how to tap into the other side. And so with the tools of the workshop of the mind, it's all about really squaring your thoughts, controlling your thoughts, making sure they're within the bounds of righteousness, within the bounds of what, within the bounds of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay. So we're cutting away our naughty, useless, ungainly parts to make the character symmetrical. So this is all talking about you tapping into the strength, the power that's coursing through your veins. So you see that, like, you're not going to see that if you just look at Galilee. But if you know this now, whenever you see that, you know to pay attention. Pay attention. This is probably whatever is going to be spoken of is probably going to be telling you something about that soul power, that soul energy. And then when you read the chapter, he's giving you the tools on how to tap into it. So this is definitely not something to look over, right? And so that's what we discussed last Sunday. And then we're going forward to chapter 6 today. And this is more, you know, going in a little bit more on the same topic. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. We're going to chapter 6, fam. Okay. So everybody, chapter 6, you just look at the screen if you don't have it in front of you. Okay. So chapter 6, the life and works of Jesus in India among the Muslims. Okay. And all right, verse 1. A royal prince of India, Ravana, in the south, was at the Jewish feast. Ravana was a man of wealth, and he was just, and with a band of Brahmic priests sought wisdom in the west. When Jesus stood among the Jewish priests and read and spoke, Ravana heard and was amazed. All right. And when he asked who Jesus was, from whence he came, and what he was, Chief Hillel said, "We call this child the day star from on high. And for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men and to redeem his people of Israel. And if we can pause right there, Scylla, didn't you have something to share about the day star? I think your mic, I don't know what's wrong with your mic. You got to, yeah, you're gonna have to come over here. Your mic's not, it's no good.
I think it might be.
Nope. Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. You gotta come over here. Okay, so right there, verse 5, we call this Ravana's asking about this. Who is this speaking? He's dropping wisdom. This was a boy, and he's saying, we call this child Chief Hillel. We call this child the day star from on high, for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men, and to redeem his people of Israel. So,
Islam. I just want to add on. I actually went and looked up what the morning star or the day star was, and what I got is Venus. It said Venus or Lucifer is a the Lucifer is a Latin name for the planet Venus as the morning star in the ancient Roman era. And then when I looked up day star, it said is usually defined as the morning star. Lucifer is Venus. Due to a unique movement and appearance in the sky, it looks like it's falling from the heavens to earth or to the underworld. And when you look up Venus, you get the Roman goddess of love and beauty. And you always see what Jesus means love, and they always has a correlation to Jesus and love. And so when we sit, and then another thing about Venus, it sets in the west and it rises in the east, just like our sun. So when we look into what the prophet wrote, and we look into like cross-reference these words, we find out that they have hidden meanings. They're teaching us about Venus. Venus is love. Islam.
And then too, another thing, when you look at Venus, like its movement from, at least from our perspective on Earth, if you look at its movement in the sky from us, Venus makes a transit that is like the pentagram. Basically, it goes from 1 to 5 points, right? And it makes a pentagram in the sky. Okay, so the morning star does this. And of course, what do we have on the Moorish flag? We have the 5-pointed star. Okay, so back to verse 5, we call this child the day star from on high, for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men and to redeem his people of Israel. And Hillel told Ravana all about the child, about the prophecies concerning him, about the wonders of the night when he was born, about the visit of the Magian priests, about the way in which he was protected from the wrath of evil men, about his flight to Egypt land, and how he then was serving with his father as a carpenter in Nazareth. Okay, and so his life also mirrored that of Lord Krishna in that same region where he's where this prince is from, India. So Ravana was entranced and asked to know the way to Nazareth, that he might go and honor such a one as son of Allah. Okay, so now he's like enamored with this story. He wants to go to Nazareth to pay respect to him as the son of Allah. And with his gorgeous train, he journeyed and came to Nazareth of Galilee. Okay, so we talked about Nazareth and Galilee, and how Galilee means, really, it means your soul energy or soul power, or let me see the exact wording that was in the notes that I had. Galilee, life, energy of life. soul energy, power, force, energy, acting in conjunction with substance. Okay. So this is all, revealing to you or letting you know that the lessons being shared are telling you how to tap into this energy. Okay. So back to verse 10. He found the object of his search, engaged in building dwellings for the sons of men. Okay. And so, he finds him, doing carpenter work with his father. And when he first saw Jesus, okay, he was climbing up a 12-step ladder, and he carried in his hands a compass, square, and an axe. Okay. And if I can, I'm gonna pause right there. Right. So when he first saw Jesus, it's telling you he's climbing up a 12-step ladder. Okay. And if we look at the symbolism of 12, all right, that's powerful, because 12 always refers to spiritual fulfillment. Always. Okay. And so he's climbing the 12-step ladder. This always represents spiritual fulfillment. And he's climbing it, and he's carrying in his hands, which we know, the compass, square, and axe. We know that these are the tools of the workshop of the mind. And he's climbing the 12-step ladder, which represents spiritual fulfillment. So how do you reach spiritual fulfillment? By using these tools. And so this is, once again, just reiterating, what we read in chapter 4. This is how you reach spiritual fulfillment. The spirit energy or spirit force, that's coursing through your veins that you can tap into, your spiritual veins, so to speak. This is how you use it, with these tools. Okay. And Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of tribes of the son of Jacob. And with the stones, he built an altar in the name of Jehovah. That's in 1 Kings 18, 31, 32. The 12 stones represent the 12 most important nerve centers in the body. Okay. So all material things represent spiritual realities. Okay. So none of this is, so to speak, mundane. Everything material represents something on the spiritual realm. And so when he's climbing the 12-step ladder, this is, it always means 12 always means spiritual fulfillment, but he's also mastering, the physical system, right? He mastering because you have 12 cranial nerves in the brain, right? So he's teaching you how to master your mind. All right. In Egypt, the gardens of the temples could be overridden by the 12 witnesses, the 12 lights, the 12 messengers. In Latin, Jesus had 12 apostles. You had the 12 tribes of Israel. And in medical science today, there are 12 cranial nerves, right? The 12 cranial nerves work in unity to give an account or witness as to the conditions of each of the organs, or each of the orifices of the temple, to the all-seeing eye. So the ancient Egyptians had names for each and every one of these. So did the Christians, and so did the Hebrews, right? And all the religious organizations, all the esoteric brotherhoods, everything basically is reflecting this same way of mastering the human body. Or of gaining, gaining mastery over the human body, right? Because that's the temple of God, right? So you have the 12 cranial nerves. You have the olfactory. That's one. Optic, two. Oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, the facial, acoustic, glossal, pharyngeal, the vagus, which controls hunger and pain, spinal accessories, and then the hypoglossal, which is the muscular movements of the tongue. So you have 12 cranial nerves. And so when Jesus is climbing the 12-step ladder and he carries in his hand the compass, square, and the axe, this is telling you right now, this is how to attain spiritual enlightenment. Okay. And so you know, you can get that from this because you've already read chapter 5, or we've already done that, and you know that the square and the compass and the axe, these are the tools that you can use to always square off your thoughts to make sure they're within those bounds. This is how you tap into that energy. Okay, so we always want to raise our thoughts, to raise our vibration to a higher level so that we can function on a higher plane. And this is how you tap into it. Okay, and so this whole message is just reiterating that the importance of this, right? And so when he's climbing the 12-step ladder, you know, these are the 12, you know, cranial nerves, or these are the 12 sections, you know, like control points in the brain, in the mind. Okay. And so when you see that 12, you know that this is important, and this is why, and we need to listen, pay attention. Okay, because these control the different functions in your body. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and go back in here to verse 11. Is anybody, we all cool? Everybody cool? All right. Okay, so back to verse 11. All right, so Ravana, okay, when he first saw Jesus, he was climbing up a 12-step ladder, and he carried in his hands a compass, square, and axe. We all in alignment on that, right? We understand what this is meaning symbolically. It's reiterating, like, this is why I wanted to go back to chapter 5 before we started this, the importance of the tools that he gave you, the symbolic meaning of the compass, square, and the axe, right? And this is all about mastery, self-mastery, 12-step ladder. Okay, so verse 12, Ravana said, "All hail, most favored son of heaven." Why? Because when he sees him climbing the 12-step ladder, this is showing that he's using his tools from the workshop of the mind to master self, right? And so, you know, now I mean, like, we can all see that clearly, right? We're all in agreement. So when he says, "All hail, most favored son of heaven," it's because he's demonstrating how to master self, right? You know, he's doing that. And so this is what we're all to do. Okay, in verse 13, and at the end, Ravana made a feast for all the people of the town. And Jesus and his parents were honored guests. For certain days, Ravana was a guest in Joseph's home in Marmion Way. He sought to learn the secret of the wisdom of the son, but it was all too great for him. And then he asked that he might be the patron of the child. He might take him to the east, like take him back to India, where he could learn the wisdom of the Brahms, right? The spiritual masters there. As Jesus longed to go, that he might learn. And after many days, his parents gave consent. Then with proud heart, Ravana with his train began the journey towards the rising sun. And after many days, they crossed the sand and reached the province of Orissa and the palace of the prince. The Brahmic priests were glad to welcome home the prince. With favor, they received the Jewish boy. And Jesus was accepted as a pupil in the temple Jagannath. And here he learned the Vedas and the Maniac law. So he's also initiated into this priesthood in India. The Brahmic masters wondered at the clear conceptions of the child and often were amazed when he explained to them the meaning of the law. Okay, and that's the last verse in there. But as we can see, you know, we're really reiterating on the importance of the lessons that were shared with us in chapter 5 with the tools of the workshop of the mind. We know that with the climbing of the 12-step ladder, with those tools in his hand, right? And he's carrying in his hands a compass, square, and axe, and climbing up the 12-step ladder. We know that this is him mastering, you know, the 12 cranial nerves, him mastering himself, right? All right, so we get that now, and this is the temple of God, the human body. So he's tapped. This is, and then with this having to do with Galilee, we know that with Galilee, this has to do, when you see that, it has to do with tapping into your soul energy, your power, your life force. Okay, And so with these things in conjunction, you see with him climbing these 12-step ladders, he's mastering his mind by using the tools of the workshop of the mind. And this is how you tap into the energy of life, right? Because that's one of the metaphysical meanings of Galilee: energy of life, soul energy, power force, energy, acting in conjunction with substance. So this is teaching you how to tap into that power to rise to Christ within. And this is why this is in, I said this last time, this is why this is in the beginning of the Quran. This is the most powerful information here. We all master this, you know, with everybody that's on this call right now. We work on this. There's nothing, you know, that can possibly come against us. There's nothing that can stop us, right? We can accomplish anything. And so these are the lessons. These are the most powerful things. That's it on the Quran. We're done with chapter 6. Does anybody have any questions about that? Does everything make sense?
That was a dope breakdown you did there. I appreciate that. Peace. You should have said that first. And relating it to the 12 cranial nerves. I heard that somewhere else before.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I just heard it. I like how you related it again for me.
Islam. All right. So, I mean, now we all can see that whenever we see that 12 in there, you know, to go back and to look deeper. Everybody should get a metaphysical Bible. Charles Fillmore wrote one. It goes in depth. And I mean, it's just a great tool to have. But we all need to know, like, when we look at this stuff, to look at it a little deeper and ask questions too. Nobody, you know, just out the gate knows all of this stuff. You know, it's nearly impossible unless you were raised like this. I mean, how many of you grew up in the priesthood, you know, in the ancient priesthood? So it's like, of course, we all need to ask these questions and stay on top of each other too, sharpening each other up as well in the lessons so that we can see the symbolism, because when it's speaking to us, right, this is every man, every woman's lesson, you know, because the Christ is within us all. The Christ is a title, you know, for the anointed one. So we're all supposed to tap into this power. So this Jesus is you, is me, you know, it's the I am, it's in all of us, right?
And it's important for us to not only ask questions, but to look this stuff up. Anything that stands out, anything that we say, what is that? Like the locations, the places, even things that we're familiar with, look it up, because then you can get double meaning, triple meaning for these things, and then you could take it to the next level. Just like the number 12, like you were saying, like nobody puts that stuff together, and then we have clocks all around us that we're living in time, you know, and time has 12 years.
Yeah, why did they break time up into 12 hours,
Right.
You know, and then it's 24 hours in a day. You know, there were 24 elders, you know, on the council. I mean, it's like, so this stuff is all around us, and as we gain understanding in it, insight in it, okay, we can tap into our power. And that's why we can't overlook anything in here, especially in the Quran. You know, these are ancient teachings, right? So we definitely need to ask questions on everything.
And also with 12, we have the zodiacs, you know, we have the 12 signs of the zodiac. And it's like, you could keep going on, but you have to look these things up so that you could get the deeper meaning, so that you could understand. You know, Jesus represents the sign of the Aquarius, right?
Islam.
And the Aquarian age. And what age are we in right now?
Yeah, and that's the age that we're going into,
Islam.
or we are into now.
And that's the information age. And if you look up more about Aquarian or Aquarius, you see he represents beauty. What we learned about earlier, Venus, beauty, love. This is what Jesus stands for. And all that is because Jesus was tapped into his Father God Allah, his higher self. That means we need to tap into our higher selves. And that whole thing which you was reading earlier, when you was talking about Nazareth and Galilee. That to me, what you said just represents our lower and higher selves. Jesus came from that Nazareth, that lower self. He was born in it. What they tell us, we're born in sin, you know, and he tapped into that Galilee.
Islam.
He raised up his vibrations and he used the tools. And this is beautiful, it's deep, and we just have to understand like what it's saying to us. It's gonna speak to each of us differently because we're coming from different walks of life with different knowledge. But nobody is wrong. Whatever it says to you, that's what it means to you. And that's why we, you know, get together at these meetings so that we can talk about it. Like you said, to sharpen each other's swords. Islam?
Islam. All right. So, all right. If nobody had anything to say about that, we're going to go ahead and move forward. All right. Okay. Islam, hey, I just wanted to ask one question for the brother. Says Michi Sosa. What's your name and attribute? Okay, Islam. All right, I know who that is. All right, Islam. Okay, so yeah, moving forward. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read. The Prophet warns all Muslims, and that's to be read at every meeting. Okay, and get it started. I hereby inform all members. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting, Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so that they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me in the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your Moorish, divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my works, which I performed in the past few years, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And this is to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali, and that is why many have hearts, many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors. And every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And just gonna read one more thing. All right. All right, this is Drew Ali in time. Allah has sent us a prophet and sent him in time with a holy message, which is divine. He came to let the Asiatics of America know they are of the ancient family of the Moors. His speech was to the Asiatics first. Why? Because they have been sinners since their departure from their forefathers' religion. O sinners, why don't you hear the soul of Islam ringing in your ears? The prophet has said that if I were you, I would get ready before you are made to do so. Now come and pick up your forefathers and mothers' ancient and divine creed, which carries your national name indeed. It will entice you to your rights, which you have been denied. Oh, excuse me. It will entitle you to your rights, which you have been denied. Okay? So he's letting you know we need to pick up our ancient and divine creed, and then we will be entitled to our rights. Because in 1774, your light was cut off from the ancient Moors, and that is why Allah has sent us a prophet in 1886 to prepare the light that was out. It's so on point for him to say that about the light being put out, because that is a quote that was from I believe a senator in Virginia, where he said he wanted to stomp the light out. If only we could stomp the light out of the Negro's mind, or prevent the light from entering the Negro's mind. Let's see if I could pull up that quote for you. Wow. Yeah, but that, just in that, I mean, he was really on point with what was going on at the time. Okay. Hang on with me. Okay, but back to what I was reading. The prophet said, because in 1774 your light was cut off from the ancient Moors, and that is why Allah has sent us a prophet in 1886 to prepare the light that was out. In 1925, the prophet said, I have mended the broken wires and have connected them with the higher powers. So come on, Asiatics, don't you want to go? We were marching on to Canaan. I used to think that it was a city in the sky, but now I know it is here on earth. Don't you want your share? And that's powerful. And I'm trying to find that quote. I had it. If anybody has any questions or anything to add, you could go ahead and unmute yourself.
Islam, I was just saying, this is powerful. And, I'm liking the way that it's breaking down, and we going through the whole thing from the like I had to do it on my own. So Islam, thanks, man.
Islam. All right, that's what we're here for, to keep, to help make each other better, to help each other, sharpen each other.
Peace. What was that you were just reading there?
That's from Moorish literature. It's entitled Drew Ali in Time.
Is that the one that you said is that has other writings and stuff?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll show it to you. Hang on. All right, yeah, you know, basically with us, okay, everybody under the leadership of Supreme Grand Sheik K. Dandridgel, nobody else's Moorish literature is like this. Yeah, we have some things in here from E. Millie L, some letters and things that nobody else has. So definitely, I advise everybody to get a copy of that Moorish literature.
Question.
Sure.
Excuse me. So how do you go about getting that then? Go through you, or go straight to him, or go to the different officer at the temple?
We could take orders. Yeah, we could take orders. But this is produced, yeah, within the temple.
Thank you. I'm definitely gonna need one of them, man.
Oh, were you able to talk to Sister Tamika about your card? Gray L?
Well, they said they're supposed to mail them out, but they haven't mailed them yet.
Okay.
But you did tell me I have membership as of my application. So
Islam.
Wow, it's been a process too. I don't know which date she's talking about, like this year's date or last year's date. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might just give up and just share that with y'all next time. Has anybody ever heard of that that I was talking about? It was a speech that was made, like I think in Virginia, and there was a lawmaker that actually was speaking about the so-called Negro, and he was saying like if only we could totally prevent the light from entering the Negro's mind, and we wouldn't have to worry about them ever rising up. Okay. And this was like on the record. But he was saying we pretty much done the job. You know, that's like they can't really like completely stop the light from entering your mind. But he's like, if only we could do that. But, you know, we pretty much done everything we could to stop them from rising up. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, I can't find that quote right now. Man, I wish I would share that with y'all. It's powerful. But and the prophet came like right on the heels of that comment, saying, you know, what he said about them the light, you know, being removed by us being disconnected from the Moors, right? He said, because in 1774 your light was cut off from the ancient Moors, and that is why Allah sent us a prophet in 1886 to prepare the light that was cut out. And it's like, man, that's powerful. Maybe I could bring that back next time and share that. But, you know, these are the keys. We have them. We have everything that we need right here. It's just on us now to carry it out. All right, so that's it for now. That's all I had to share. Does anybody have anything they want to add or share? Any questions, anything? Okay, cool. So I'm going to just announce without further ado, we're going to go into the closing of the meeting. All right. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you would rise for the closing prayer, just face the east, 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left. Don't repeat after me. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed, principles. We ask this in thy holy name, in the 7 Elohim. Amen. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. If anybody had anything they want to add, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and close the meeting.
Islam, happy holy day, everybody. Peace.
All right. Happy holy day. Peace and love.
Happy holy day, Islam, everybody.
Islam. Okay. One thing real quick. Michi Sosa, can you DM me your name? Your email and your phone number too. Okay, cool, gotcha. And your name with your attribute too, like your L or Bay. And it, you know, if you don't have an L or Bay on there yet, I mean, it's all just your first and last name, family name. All right. Gotcha. All right, so is everybody good? Y'all good? Anybody have any questions? We're all done. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, every Sunday and Friday is 7. We're just gonna go through the Quran from the beginning to the end, and then go right back through. And as you can see, the lessons can get pretty deep. So you know, we're just gonna go from the front to the back, and then go from the back to the front, and you know, just keep doing it so that we can all be strong in this knowledge and wisdom, right? And by us holding to the holy day, doing this every Friday, I mean, you know, I'm for the brothers that's been here, you already know the importance of the 6th day. I'll just show that real quick for the sister that's I think you're new. So I'm gonna show you that Kabbalah tree of life real quick. Okay, and so like we meet every Friday on the holy day, okay, and the Friday in the questionnaire, I'm gonna show you something real quick, okay? So just hang on, because we like to keep things timely around here. Hang on. All right. Okay, so all right, check this out. Okay, and hang on, let me pull up the questionnaire real quick too. All right, this is all gonna make sense in a second. Okay, so wait, hold up. Okay, if you look at the screen right now, I have the Quran questionnaire on there, which we go over this every Sunday. Okay, so in the Quran questionnaire, these are things that we all are supposed to memorize, not just children. Like we're all Allah's children. Okay, so in here, it's saying why is our holy day? You know, why is Friday our holy day? Hang on. And I'm trying to get to that question. Okay, so question 22, which is our holy day? And then it says Friday. And then it says why? And then it says because Friday is the day on which man was formed in flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of flesh. Okay? And so to the profane, to those who don't understand or know like the spiritual meaning behind any of this stuff, that makes no sense. That means nothing, right? And so that's why the sister Douglas L. earlier was saying to ask questions, even about things like this, which might seem like, you know, which is our holy day, Friday. Oh, well, you're not, you know, it doesn't mean anything, right? Why? Because Friday is the day on which man was formed in the flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of the flesh. It's easy to just overlook that and say, you know, that doesn't mean anything, right? That means nothing to me, okay? But these lessons are hidden in plain sight because, all right, there's so much power in understanding this, like what we talked about today. This is how to tap into that soul power, that life force energy, which is what I was explaining. This is what Galilei means, right? So this is powerful energy. And so one of the ways of sharing this with people, you have to codify it. It had to be put in a way so that people are worthy of receiving this. And so if you're just looking at it and you just glossing over it and not putting any other thought into it, you're not worthy of this power that is given you. All right. So this is that's why you have to look between the lines and find the double meaning of it. Okay. So it's just like if you were giving a code to someone and you've got some really powerful information, but everybody is not worthy of having that power. You would make it so that you could just say a regular sentence that just sounds like, oh, he walked down the street and he climbed up over the fence. And you're saying this to the person. And since that person understands like you that they need to look between the lines and see the double meaning, then they can get the message that's hidden in it. But the rest of the people can't because they're not ready for it. Okay, and so in that, what I was just reading from the Koran questionnaire, where he's saying, how old is which is our holy day? Friday. Why? Because Friday is the day on which man departed in the flesh, and it was on Friday. Friday is the day when he was formed, and it's also on Friday that he departed out of the flesh. So when we go back to this thing, this is the Kabbalah tree of life. Okay, and when we go here, we have 10 spears that represent this the soul plane, the spiritual plane, and the physical, all the way at the bottom where it says Malkuth. That's the physical world. That's where we're at right now. Okay, so if you count down from the top, which is up here where the spirit realm, you count down from the top, like on the right side, you got a zigzag line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you go to 6, the 6th spear, that just happens to be where man is, the Tefereth, right? And that's where we're at right now. So this is the 6th spear or the 6th day, right? Counting down from the top, we're right in the middle of the soul plane. Okay, and so the Hebrews called this the Tefereth, but the ancient Egyptians also had this, the ancient Olmecs, all the ancient cultures, would have this understanding. They'll have their own name for it, but they'll all have this type of diagram, right? So this knowledge was universal, all right? And so we're in the 6th spear right there in the middle. We're in there. That's where man is. And so that's why this is telling you, like on our holy day is on the 6th day. This is when man was formed in the flesh and also when he departs out of the flesh. So this is where the soul spirit world meets the physical world, because man is strangely formed. Man is of the spiritual realm and the physical realm. We're right there on the 6th day, manifest creation, and Allah is manifesting in us. So we're right here connected to the spirit and the physical. All right. And so that's why we meet on Friday, the holy day, the 6th day, because it has spiritual significance for us. So it's not just another day. It's not for us. This is special because we have this knowledge and understanding. All right. And so that's why we do this every Friday, 7 p.m. And then we also do this on Sundays as well. And other questions related to Temple Moorish American nationality and things like that, we can answer those questions, build on that stuff as well. And we also do these spiritual lessons because this is powerful information. We can control our reality down, here, right now, here and now. So that's all I wanted to say on that, just to build on that, because I know everybody wasn't there and doesn't understand why we do this. So hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, you can ask questions later or send an email. All right. Or just ask them next time. We're going to do this again Sunday at 7. All right. So I don't want to take up any more of anyone's time unless you have questions. That's it. Peace. I want to thank everybody for coming in. You could go ahead and unmute. Peace and love. All right. Cool. All right. So, yeah, Islam, everybody. Peace and love.